24-month waiver on select John Deere tractors and combines, or lock in a 2.9% fixed rate for 36 months, followed by a qualified standard rate for another 36 months. Whether you're thinking of this year's harvest or planning ahead, we've got a solution that works for your bottom line. Visit your local Landmark implement for more details, or check us out at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations. If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Dana Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers, starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. DirecTV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Hey guys, it's Carly from Blake Farm Outfitters. Now that we're into harvest, it's time to think about what's next on each of your fields. For some, that means cover crops. Whether it's to help with weed pressure or erosion control, boost soil health, or if you need something for cow chow, we can help. We're seeding everything from simple rye covers to more exotic mixes and even winter wheat. So if you're shorthanded and don't feel like you can get anything seeded, just give us a call and we can help. Find us at BoykeFarmOutfitters.com to get in touch. That's BOECK FarmOutfitters.com.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You've got used to one segment of Good Takes in the morning, but now there's a full show of Good Takes at night. Welcome into Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket.
All right, welcome in to Raff's Good Take on Sports, 93.7 The Ticket. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got Chris Raff, the host, streaming in. You guys are welcome to join in, 402-464-5685. Chris Raff, how's it going on a Wednesday night?
Going pretty good, not too bad. I was watching the World Series, the first baseball game that I have probably watched this year, I think. I can't say that I watched any other than this one. 3-1. Toronto Blue Jays, top of the 7th. They started out the game with 2 consecutive home runs, so that was quite the way to start the game. And then the one guy, what's his name, Schneider?
Yep.
Pretty interesting little tidbit about him that he, like, when he goes into slumps, he imitates other Major League Baseball players. So he hit a home. So I guess he had been imitating Will Smith, and he was doing pretty well with his swing. And then earlier in the year, he was like imitating Bobby Witt. He had 2 home runs in Colorado imitating Aaron Judge. And then tonight's home run, they wanted to know whose swing he was imitating. He's using his swing that he used in the minor leagues.
No way.
It's crazy. I
didn't know about that story either.
Most batters, they're pretty stuck to that one swing. If you adjust your swing, you've got to, go back to the drawing board and redo everything. And here this guy gets in a slump on one swing and decides he's going to imitate somebody else. So they were trying to figure out whose swing he was trying to imitate tonight. And Ken Rosenthal down in the dugout finally got a report that he was using his minor league swing tonight. So that's incredible. I mean, it's crazy.
No, it just tells you the talent level of both these teams and why the Blue Jays are maybe a little bit slept on. This is a big one. Top of the 7th inning, like you said, Toronto leads at 3-1. And if Toronto gets this, it's 3-2. They need one more, and they're heading back to Toronto after both bullpens have really been exhausted after that 18th inning. So it's if you're the Dodgers, this one hurts a lot. If you drop this one, then Game 7 feels a little bit less unattainable.
And both games are in Toronto, correct?
Yeah, both games will be. It's a 2-3-2, the way it works in the MLB. So you're going to have both games in Toronto. And if you, like I said, you drop this one right here, if you're the Dodgers, you got to go win 2 straight on the road.
Yeah. And then I also saw, too, that Shohei is all arms on deck. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. It'll be like kind of old school, when you like look out to the outfield to bring in. I mean, you see it in college baseball every once in a while, but seeing a position player, turn into a pitcher, I could see him maybe coming in and pitching some late innings, in either like Game 6 or Game 7.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's been a lot of fun. I will say the world, because we talked about it when the playoffs were initially there, and you're like, man, we might have like a Brewers Tigers face off. And, I know some people might like it, but the baseball crowd might not like it. You got the Dodgers in there, but you also got what has been a really awesome series with the Blue Jays. I mean, it's one thing for it to not be a big market team, but the Blue Jays have looked awesome in this. So for those guys to be, possibly a threat taking down the Dodgers, it makes it a really good series. So it's working out much better than I think the MLB could have ever hoped for.
Yeah, definitely. And I was also going to bring this up too about baseball in Canada. If you get the opportunity, watch the new Montreal Expos show that I think it's on Netflix, I believe. But I watched that. And that was pretty cool. They talked about how they ended up leaving Montreal and all the stuff that went into it, because that was a lot of stuff that I didn't even realize, like that the owner was, or the general or the managing partner made his stepson the general manager, and just some of the crazy stuff that was taking place during that time. Because I remember back at the 94, I believe it was. Yeah, that was the strike in 94. The Expos were rolling. They were the best team in the major leagues. They probably would have had a definite shot, for the World Series that year, but then they canceled the entire season. So you never did find out. But yeah, I forgot, just how powerful they were and the players that they had. And when they decided to finally move on, and the fire sale they had, I mean, they had like Larry Walker, got rid of him. Was it Marquise Grissom? Got rid of him. They had the pitcher Ken Hill, got rid of him. It was crazy. And these Expo fans, they're still holding out hope for, one day that, baseball will return back to Montreal, because I didn't realize just how crazy their fans were for Major League Baseball. So pretty interesting little documentary if you get an opportunity to watch that.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot about Canada's love for ball, because we'll look at the ticket prices quite a bit, and those games in Toronto, they were pricey, way pricier than I would have guessed. And there's some serious buy-in down there in Toronto, and obviously you get people outside of Canada going to those games as well. But the fact that it's in Toronto and they're able to charge that much for tickets, there's a big audience there, and we'll see what happens with the expand. I don't know. MLB probably hasn't really talked about expansion yet, but I know the NBA keeps flirting with the idea of it, and maybe you do get another, Canadian team in there along the mix. They're bleeding over more and more, is my point.
Yeah, definitely. It was cool. I mean, that documentary, I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't even realize, and just so it was like Pedro Martinez, he talks so fondly about it. Like he's like some of the best moments of his career were pitching for the Expos.
Mhm.
And that was, before he, kind of hit it big with the Red Sox. But yeah, those fans up there, man, I tell you what, they definitely they kind of got robbed. Like the owner or the general partner that came in. I mean, he definitely, him and his son or stepson, they both think that they did right by Montreal. But man, I'll tell you what, I think they might have messed up a little bit there.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Sometimes the cities, the best fans get absolutely screwed over. The best example is the Baltimore Colts and the overnight move, where they just gaslit and they lied to everybody and said, "How dare you say that we're moving the team? That is not true. We are here in the city of Baltimore." And then overnight, they quietly load up the trucks and just you wake up and the team's gone, and everything they owned is gone. And it's like, oh, okay, so you just lied to our face, even though we had a ton of support. And then you moved. And there was actually a Canadian team that came down to play in Baltimore in replacement until they became, was it the Baltimore Ravens right away? I'm not entirely sure. But there was a Canadian team in Baltimore for a little while.
They were gone for a few years, and then the Ravens, the Browns became the Ravens, I guess. So
Yeah, that's what it was.
it's speaking of, that just reminded me of this week's game, with Lincoln Riley and Oklahoma. And I will not definitely be the coach at LSU. He told the truth. Problem was he left for USC the next day. That is the all-time greatest press conference, I think, of all time, for just where he was being. They never asked him if he was leaving Oklahoma for any other schools. They asked him, "Are you leaving to go to LSU?" And he said, "I guarantee you 100% I am not leaving to go to LSU." But
he wasn't lying.
They forgot the follow-up question.
Yeah. Is there anywhere else that you might be going to?
That might have been the question I might have wanted to ask, but I'm doubting he would have said anything that night about that. But it would have been funny to see his face because he knew that they were just going to only ask about LSU. It would have been so funny to see a reporter go, "So are you guaranteeing you're staying and not going anywhere else?" And just to see what his response would have been that night, because that would have really put him in the proverbial pickle.
Any fear that Matt Rule does something like that? Where he says, I am not going to Penn State. And then he ends up at Arkansas, Florida, any of those. I think if he goes anywhere, it's Penn State. But
I think it's Penn State. I don't like you said, like I've continued to say, like if he decided to return to Penn State, if that opportunity was afforded to him, I would not hold it against him, just for the fact that it's alma mater. It's his boyhood, who he loved as a team. It's who he played for. And if that opportunity was afforded, but I've kept on saying is just be classy about it and not do any type of Lincoln Riley here one day, gone the next. Just be upfront and honest. If you're upfront and honest, with everyone, it's fine. Just come out and just be like, "Hey, my heart's at Penn State." And if that's what it is, that's what it is. But not one of these like playing the bowl game and then the next day, "Hey, and by the way, he's in State College," not one of those, and then leave and fly by night, which I don't think he's never been that way. I don't see it, him being that way now. I think if the opportunity, like I said, he has a chance to return to Penn State and that's what he wants to do, I think he'll be upfront and honest, and most importantly, that he's upfront and honest with, the athletic director, just so that they have some sort of plan in place that you don't up and leave. Because I think, Nebraska, and like you've seen it, I mean, it's one of those things that if it's something that would happen, the sooner to learn about it, the better, because there's just so many open positions, coaching positions right now that, coaches are going to be a hot commodity this year because there's just so many spots open. And then that's not even saying all the rest of the spots that are going to open up, the day after the season ends, because I have a feeling there'll be more firings and there'll be more people leaving. So
it's a bizarre world. I have no idea. If he goes to his alma mater, I won't blame him. But to your point, just be upfront about it. 9 times out of 10, if you're upfront and don't be cheeky about it, it goes better. I mean, you're not going to please everybody if you make that announcement, but that's to be expected. It's a lot better than pissing 80% of the people off because you were shady about it.
Yeah, and he's and the way he's handled it too. Like he's talked about his love for Nebraska, but he never shut the door. Like
Exactly.
that first day, he could have been like, "I'm 100%. I guarantee I'm not leaving Nebraska." He didn't shut the door. He left it open. That the possibility is there. I mean, but he also exclaimed, his love for Nebraska and the program and what they're building here. But also on the other hand, that day he probably, he could have shut it completely, but he kind of left it, left the screen door open a little bit. So, like I said, if it's something that he would decide to do, or and even too, it's even if we don't even know if that's a position that will be offered to him, or a chance. So we're kind of everyone's kind of left in the lurch right now. But if something would happen, hopefully he'd just be upfront about it.
Yeah, and on the bright side, I don't think he has any room to even think about it right now. Because even if he did want to go to Penn State, this game means a ton with USC coming up here. I mean, we keep talking about it tomorrow as well, I'm sure, but this game has such a major impact for both of these programs. And if you're, Kraft and you want to sell it to the Penn State fans, this would be a big win for Matt Rule.
Well, here's the deal too with that. Like I laugh a little bit to myself is this is like you said, this is the big game, but it's also a big game for what is Nebraska now? They're like 0-28 against top 25 teams or some crazy.
That's the exact number. It's 0-28.
So, and Coach Rule, what's he 2-23 now? 2-22, 2-22, I believe, against top 25 teams in his coaching career. So, I mean, I don't want to say, I hold back on saying hot seats and stuff like that, but it's coming to that point. You're in year 3. It's time to get a victory over top 25 team, and we're not saying a top 10 team or top 5 team. We're saying the number 23rd ranked team in the nation. So, and you're at home, a night game, a blackout. It's the perfect mixture to end that streak. But also on the other hand, if Nebraska's unable to pull that game out on Saturday, it won't just be a blackout in the stadium. It's going to be kind of black, in Lincoln after the game, just for the fact that what's happening, are we going to get over the hump here, or is this just going to be one of those things where we're, kind of set, we're getting a little bit better, but not, I don't know. It's like, I'm not sure how you look at this year. Like, I know that what were we last year? End of the year 7-6, I believe.
Yeah, at the end of the year, I mean, we finished
7-6
with 7 wins, but we were right at 6 regular season. There was 6
regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're at 6 right now. So what constitutes if we get two more victories, 8? But then you kind of look back at the schedule and you're like, well, it was maybe a little bit easier than the year prior. So is 8 wins enough to be like, okay, we're in the right direction? I mean, I know record wise, and some would say, okay, well, the record's better, but the eye test, I'm sitting there going, but if we end up winning 8, but we don't defeat a top 25 team, and say we go to Iowa and, get it handed to us there, then I'm sitting there going, have we improved? Are we staying neutral? Where are we at with the program? And I think those are questions that I think are fair to ask. And then, you've heard, rumors about, potential contracts and stuff like that. Well, if you're going to be, doing stuff like that, they've got to, it's something that's got to be shown. For me, I guess that's the way I look at it.
Well, I mean, it's fair to say, is this a better team or is this an easier schedule? Because the easier schedule part is definitely true.
Yeah.
So then you do have to ask yourself, is this team really better, or is this 1 win better or 2 wins better result of the schedule if we lose to ranked Michigan, who, again, that was the Michigan team who came into Memorial Stadium without their head coach, and we were at home. It was a big game for us, and you drop that one. Okay, you get another opportunity here with USC. If you drop this one, again, you have all the elements. It's a night game. Everything's pointing in your favor to pull off the upset, even though it was Michigan. It was, what was it, 3.5 was the spread and then we were actually favored in some models.
Yeah.
And this USC game, we're not favored, but it's 6.5. It's nothing crazy. okay, if you drop this one, then you're gonna watch this Iowa team's good. That's gonna be coming to Memorial, and they'll be ranked, but that's going to be a grinded out game if you want to beat this year's Iowa team. And if you can't, if you can't get it done versus USC or Michigan, it's going to be hard for me to believe that you can get it done versus Iowa. So this game, it's a big barometer test. Like, is this team getting better, or is this a result of an easier schedule?
So what about this? Say Nebraska loses on Saturday night and ends up losing out the rest of the season. I mean, what is the barometer there? Like, okay, then do we fall back to, well, we made it to another bowl game? Or
I think we took steps backwards is a clear messaging.
That'd be my perspective too of it, because I mean, you look at it, say we lay an egg against USC and then UCLA. I mean, yes, people are going to be like, well, they got throttled by Indiana, but a lot of people get throttled by Indiana, us included. But, they also had, a couple big games that they'd pulled off some victories. So say they put something together, because that game is out in UCLA. So that's a home game. And then you're going to have, the
Penn State and Indy Lions after on the road.
Yeah, that's it. That's there. And
they're going to have nothing to lose. I mean, Penn State's at a point where they don't care. They got nothing to lose, and they're good. If they want to go make some NIL money, the difference today is NIL money's on the board. So these guys are going to play. Yeah.
And so so that's one of those things. So then all of a sudden you're rolling into Iowa and you're on like a 3-game losing streak. And then
Iowa's going to be fighting for a playoff spot, most likely. I really think so.
So, I mean, this season's got a lot of different storylines it still could take, because I mean, I even look at Nebraska like this. If Nebraska's able to reel off, a win against USC and they win out the rest of the year, they're going to be right on the edge of a playoff spot.
Well, the dream scenario, Raff, right? And this could happen. And I would love this. This would be the greatest moment I've had with Husker football. It could build up to, if Nebraska starts rattling off wins and Iowa maintains what it's doing, and say they get a big win over Oregon.
Yeah.
Hold on. Does Iowa Nebraska become a who gets into the college football playoffs game? And again, everything has to go right, but think about that environment. If it gets to Iowa versus Nebraska, who's going to the college football playoffs? And that'd be the first time for Iowa in a long time to have bragging rights over Nebraska, beating us in a meaningful game. And it'd be another opportunity for Nebraska to say, we've arrived, and put your foot down on Iowa, saying you'll never beat us. I mean, that would be the craziest headline game we could have.
If Nebraska could reel off some wins and Iowa, like you said, reels off some wins, and you have that game playing for a playoff spot, I mean, that's a throwback to Oklahoma, Nebraska of yesteryear. I mean, that's a game for the marbles. That's a game to get to the Orange Bowl. That is, but like I said, that storyline, that's a possible storyline. But then there's also that other possible storyline of, whoa, wait a second here. Then so there's, I guess that's what do they always say? That's why they play the games, because it's definitely these last, this last month of the season is going to be, something to behold for Nebraska football.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you hope for, is Nebraska football takes the right road this time. I mean, because in years past, it's been the latter of what you said of like, oh wait, here we go. This is not going good. Or we could finally have that moment. And again, it's the year 3 Matt rule. You don't want to say it has to happen, but I mean, you have again, it's Penn State. USC is a good team, not a Indiana or an Ohio State or even an Oregon. And then you have UCLA, who's good, but not a team that you're terrified. Penn State, again, I know I hyped them up a little bit, but still much more manageable than they likely were at the beginning of the year. And then Iowa's really going to be the toughest game, I think. And again, if you knock these games through, like it is a total possibility for Nebraska, especially if they get the win over USC. You start, because again, that's a pretty heavy, explosive offense. If, say, USC blows us out of the water, UCLA, you got a bad feeling in your stomach. No, and they like to be explosive as well. And then if you lose both of those, who knows what it looks like in the Penn State. But if you beat USC, you stop that style of offense. You can roll into UCLA confident, knowing that we just did it. And then, you win the 3 games straight, you roll into Happy Valley with a ton of confidence. And then again, you just circle that Iowa game. So for all the possibilities that are negative, I mean, there's still that possibility of things finally happening right in Nebraska.
Well, then you got your other twist. I hate to be like Mr. Negative.
No, it's good. We have to be the yin and yang a little bit.
But going to the USC, this is like the perfect storm in Nebraska in the years past, to the big game atmosphere. You're having the blackout, night game. Nebraska has a chance to show that they're kind of making their way back. And then we leave the stadium later that night disappointed. Then I also think back to the whole entitlement thing. So Nebraska, say they play USC and they get a victory over USC. That's 2 straight wins. So now, do we go into UCLA overconfident and thinking we're entitled again, and then UCLA it's just I love this part of football and just the mental part of it, and just how this is to me, this is where Coach Rule earns his keep for the mental stuff, because people always ask me all the time, they're like, what is Coach Rule? What is this? Like in the past, we've always had Coach Osborne, offensive coordinator, Coach Solich, he called plays, Bo Pelini, he was defense. And Coach Rule, I guess interior line, but he's coached all over the place in different position groups and stuff like that. So I think this is, for Coach Rule, I think this is what he is keeping his, to find that mental, balance for Nebraska football. And this is where I think this is where he's going to earn his money. Because like I said, sometimes Nebraska, they like I said, I still am stunned by the whole entitlement thing from a couple of weeks back, that was even mentioned, being that we've still, yet to defeat even a top 25 team and to be entitled. So you get a win over USC. If they thought they were entitled before, then that scares me going to UCLA thinking, well, like you said, well, we beat USC, so we'll beat UCLA easy. And I hope that's, and that's where he's going to earn his keep, from that mental state of it.
I think if they get the USC game, they'll have that in their head. I really do. I think if you're able to take down a good USC team, I think it should be locked in. I'd be surprised if they resort to thinking they got it, knowing what they have coming up ahead. And if they're looking at Iowa just at all, I mean, if they're in the mindset of we're good, then that means they'll probably look ahead and they'll look at Iowa and they'll have to rethink. I really do think it's kind of that point. I'm not so worried about them resetting. I'm more worried about them, are you good enough to meet the challenge? Because again, this is a good USC team. But to your point, Raff, this is why Rule gets paid millions of dollars.
Yep.
That's why he got paid a lot more than other coaches, despite not doing anything and getting fired from the Panthers, because we believe that we didn't pay him to beat Houston Christian and Akron. We paid him to beat USC later in the year. So you're absolutely right. I mean, he can earn his keep at Nebraska with this stretch.
Oh yeah. I think this game is huge, is huge for him, from a personal aspect, getting a win over a top 25 team, because I know he always says how he wasn't the coach at Nebraska, so he can't look at the past, but you got to look at yourself in the mirror and what you've accomplished in the past. And it hasn't been
22. You were right. It's 2-22 versus ranked opponents.
So this is a big game for not only, he won't say for him, but it is for him. And, the views, even if he has aspirations of going to Penn State, this game up here is big for him, because this is one that he could put on. Hey, we beat USC. They were a ranked team. Because if he loses this game, I think any talk of Penn State would be, I don't know how their fans would react, saying, well, I've, lost this many games, and the games that the top 25 games that he's won was one, I think it was Southern Florida when they were ranked 19th, and Texas when they were ranked 23rd. And I don't think I guess he was in the pros for a while, but it's been, since 2019. So he's definitely due, and it's a big game, on all fronts, not just for Nebraska, but for him also. And, like we said, if he elected to have that opportunity to return back to Penn State, he's definitely going to need that notch in his belt, I think, especially for their rabid fan base, because they're going to be looking at his record saying, whoa, wait a second. So it'll be interesting on Saturday night. That's for sure.
Yeah, let alone earn his keep with Nebraska fans, earn his keep with Penn State fans. I mean, this is a big game. And again, I don't know if he cares at all. I have no idea if he wants to go to Penn State or not. But just if that possibility is out there, it does matter for his case, because, again, I mean, 2-22 is not great. So this one will be easy to sell if you have this game, because all eyes are going to be on that night game, or not all eyes, but a ton of eyes. The blackout is going to be a huge game, a ton of eyes on it. Before we go to break, Raff, I got to ask you one question. I've been asking. Me and DP were talking about it. Me and DeMornay talked about it. You're a Broncos fan. If you could take one Broncos jersey, all-time Broncos, you only get to pick one jersey though, and you can assume it's signed. And that era, you're getting that era's jersey, but you only get one player. Which jersey are you taking?
That's easy. John Elway all day long.
Okay, that's a good answer. I kind of figured. What's the second one?
Second one, any era. I'd probably Peyton Manning.
I was okay, Manning. And then what's the third? This is where I don't know where you're going to go.
Well, it'd be Craig Morton, but I've got like two of them already. So
okay, so you do have an answer, Craig Morton. If you had, I know you're not a Bears fan. Who would you grab for the Bears?
Bears, Walter Payton.
Okay, that's the big one. A lot of people grab. I got no problem with that.
I go Walter Payton, Gale Sayers.
I'll take a Mike Ditka jersey for sure.
See, I would have Dick Butkus. I'd have Dick Butkus and Jim McMahon before.
A McMahon jersey would be sweet. I like that one. And then for my era, just growing up, give me the Devin Hester jersey. That guy was just a machine. Fun to watch. All right, with that being said, we do got to throw at the break here. I just had to get that out of curiosity. Don't go anywhere. Raff's Good Take on Sports right here. 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People Seeding Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de the Alzheimer's Association y the Ad Council.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Nebraska State Veterans Homes are here to serve veterans, their spouses, surviving spouses, and Gold Star parents. Join your fellow veterans and their families at one of our homes in Bellevue, Kearney, Norfolk, or Scottsbluff. With a sliding scale to determine your financial contribution, an excellent clinical team, and plenty of fun activities, our homes are the perfect retirement choice. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/homes. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
A Shiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Bonsall Pool and Spa's annual Spooktacular sale is here. Now through November 1st, get an extra $1,000 off hot tubs at an already low sale price and get $500 off the already low sale prices on infrared and traditional saunas. All hot tub water care products and accessories are also for sale for the Spooktacular sale, now through November 1st at Bonsall Pool and Spa at 33rd and Highway 2. Call for more info at 402-488-0148 or visit bonsallpool.com.
Is your heating system ready for cooler weather? Call Bryant to schedule your fall heating check. No matter what brand, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back in. Segment number 2, Raff's Good Take on Sports right here, 93.7 The Ticket. You guys are always welcome to join in, 402-464-5685, starting him in text line. Chris Raff, the floor is yours. Where do you want to go?
Okay. So today, the big story in New York City is DeMarcus Lawrence was upset with Carl Banks. I don't know if you're familiar with Carl Banks or not. He was a linebacker back in the 80s with Lawrence Taylor. He was on I think he was on 2 of the Super Bowl teams. I know he was for sure on the 86 team. I believe he was on the 90 team. Yeah, he was. He actually was on both teams. And he came out and he was very, say the word, demonstrative and critiquing DeMarcus Lawrence, saying he's, not doing, what he should be and that stuff. What are your thoughts on former players talking, I guess, negatively about the current players? Is that something, do they have that right? Or is it something to where maybe keep it a little bit more, not as, it's kind of a catch-22 for me a little bit.
There's a balance to it, right? I mean, and because we have this conversation in Huskerland all the time, right? Is the 90s guys, are they too hard on the current players because it's such a different era? And the answer is yes and no. Like, no, they have every right. I mean, that was the best. That's the reason why we care about Husker football, was because of those guys. And you seriously, okay. This is ridiculous, Raff. Just you on the camera, but you can still hear me. So if you guys are watching the stream, I'm still here, but Chris Raff's the only one on screen. But as I was saying, Raff, is we have this problem in Huskerland where, again, the 90s players, they come in and they might be critical at times, and I think sometimes they're right to be critical. Yeah. But that's the reason why we care about the Huskers today, was because those guys did the damn thing. So that's kind of how that stuff starts. And obviously it's case to case. Some people are going to come in there and they might not have the right things to say, but there should be a space where you at least hear those guys out, because it doesn't mean you have to give them total control of the team, but you want to keep that door open and have those good connections. Does not mean it's always going to be absolutely legendary stuff you're getting, but you don't want to deny their success because they obviously did something right.
And one of the things too that, like I've heard, some current players, not so much, I'm not around it as much as what I used to be, but back like 10, 15 years ago, the current players used to get a little bit upset with the older players. But like, I've always thought is that the past players, that they cared that much and are still that bought into the program that they actually have an opinion of what's going on. I think that's a good thing, because we are, like me and AD always talk about, it's when none of the former players say anything or don't care anymore. I think that's when you have your problems. And I think that goes with fandom too. Like sometimes, programs can be like, well, our fans are, but when the fans quit caring, that's when you'll quit having, different opinions and stuff like that. Like sometimes I'll see stuff and I'll just kind of roll my eyes. I'm just like, oh my goodness, this person has no clue. But then I also think to myself, but then again, that they actually are watching and they have, their opinion, that is their opinion. So it's like, I guess I don't get upset with it. Like with DeMarcus Lawrence today, getting upset with Carl Banks. Carl Banks is, one of the best outside linebackers. I'm surprised he's not. Yes, he is on the senior list to possibly make it in the Hall of Fame. Another guy that probably should have been in the Hall of Fame about 15 years ago. So I guess you just kind of take it with a grain of salt, or, take it more as, I don't know. It's tough because, he was definitely upset about, Carl Banks, what he said, but it's definitely a 2-lane road, like how you handle that.
Yeah, and real quickly, let's get from text line here. You guys are always welcome. Text in IQ Crew, one of Raff's roadies. He chimes in and says, Raff, good to hear you. Missed the swims banter on the drive. I'm currently heading home from the bowling league. Just got 2 things to say. Go Big Red and go Broncos. Shout out IQ Crew. That's my guy.
That's my guy right there. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll make an appearance on the drive here in the next month or so. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll make a special guest appearance someday in November. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
I'll be honest, Raff, I didn't give the Raff's roadies all their credit. I mean, I look at some of these numbers for the weeknight shows, and the Raff's roadies show out collectively. So, man, I tell you what, the drive, they probably appreciate when you pop on the drive, get that old school crew back together.
The roadies are a movement. Like I keep on saying that the T-shirts are still for sale. So if you want a Raff's Roadies T-shirt, just get online there and purchase your Raff's Roadie T-shirt. And if you get a T-shirt, post a picture or tweet it to me so I can repost it, because I always like seeing. What I wanted to do when it first started was I wanted people to like travel around the country, and then when they're in front of like, I was going to say the pyramids, but I guess that would be. The pyramids are not in the United States, but say they're in front of Carhenge out in western Nebraska or something like that.
That's a wedding day, and they're wearing the Raff's Roadie shirt up
on
the post.
Yeah. Definitely. That's what I want. So, but yeah, the Raff's Roadies, they're strong. They travel in force.
You guys have some of the better T-shirts too. I'm not sure who put that one together, but I do like the Raff's Roadie shirts.
Yeah, the Raff's Roadie T-shirts are
the favorites, but those ones are pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty. Actually, that was one I gave them what I wanted or whatever, and then came back and I was like, that's exactly how I wanted it, because I was like, I want the golf club, I want kick back to the football a little bit, and so yeah, definitely has everything in a T-shirt. So if you want one, get one ASAP.
And Raff will sign it probably.
Yes, I will sign anything. Just send it to the station and I'll get my hands on it, and I will sign any autograph anytime, anywhere, and I will promote any good cause anytime, anywhere. So if you have a Raff's good take, send them to me and I will definitely promote them, because like I said, positivity, it's the only way to go these days.
Especially these days. I've gotten into a good practice of just not caring as much about just anything of like, how's my neighbor doing? Do I got milk in the fridge? Oh, wow, I got milk and it doesn't expire for another 2 weeks. Life's great. I'm keeping it simple. It's a much easier way to live. Where did we go? Where were we? We got on the Raff Brodies.
Yeah, about critiquing. So,
oh, that's right.
So this is what I was leading to for me was with this happening today. How long is it before Michael Jordan steps on somebody's toes, and how is that going to be handled? Because he sort of was brimming on it a little bit with this newest talk about load management, and he kind of took a gouge at the players saying you can't play for 2 to 3 hours a night. What are you doing the other 21 hours of your day? I mean, so I'm just wondering how long is it before he says something, or one of those talks with greatness or whatever with Mike Tariq on NBC of how long, and then when that happens, how does that escalate and how is that handled? Because I'm assuming sooner or later Michael Jordan will say something that's gonna ruffle some feathers. I just have that sneaking suspicion. Plus, it's really good for ratings.
Well, and I'll be honest, Michael Jordan's right if he does go out there and say those things. I've said it a long time. The load management to me is total BS. I don't agree with it, because the NBA practices are not, your college practices. It's much different. They're not doing a whole lot other than making sure, they're getting shots up, getting ready for the game and staying loose. But you're really just playing games. And yes, I know you play a lot of games, but you have way better resources to take care of your bodies than anything close to what those guys in the past had. And those guys played 82 games all the time. If they were healthy, they would play the 82. And I think he's got a point. Like, if you can't play a 2-3 hour game, especially today with the amount of stoppages there are, and the amount of free throws there are, there's a lot of times to stop or rest. The benches are a lot deeper now, and coaches a lot more are willing to go to the bench. Unless you're, on a Tibbs roster, then you might have a little bit of gripe for load management.
But also,
just to wrap it up, and then you can go ahead. It's been done with way worse resources. All of a sudden, it's like it's a crime to say they should play, and it's like, well, why are you getting paid massive contracts so the fans can watch you play?
But don't you think too that the massive contracts have kind of added to the load management? Because if you have a chance to extend your career, say an extra 5 or 6 years by load management and only playing 40 games a year, and you're able to keep on getting contracts and extending it out. Because I look back on, like Michael Jordan, for instance, he had a pretty decent long career. I think it was at 85 to 90. God, was it 97? Was that the last year of the Bulls? And then he came back again, I believe.
97.
And then he came back and so he had, 12, 13 year career, 14-year career. But he could have played along with the Bulls. They would have stayed together and stuff like that. But I think like some other players that had, the shorter careers, like you look at like the Dan Marinos, the John Elways, the Joe Montanas, they, went, between 15, 16 years, 17. I think Dan Marino went 17 years. But in that 80s, they were playing every game, but they were taking the hits. Like you look at today's NFL, they're not taking the hits. So you're seeing the quarterbacks go with the much longer careers. Like John Elway retired when he was 36. Dan Marino retired when he was 37 or 38. And when they got there, it's like they looked at it as a pretty good long career. Well, now you're seeing these quarterbacks now, you hear 36, you're like, oh, well, he's still got, 5 or 6 years left. And I think a lot of that is just, with, playing the physical game. And I think that load management comes from where these players are like, well, heck, I could play another, 10 years if I'm not playing every single game and taking the wear and tear. So I guess do you want to see these players play for 10 to 12 years, 82 games a year? Or do you want to continue seeing them playing for like 16, 17 years, playing, 40 or 50 games a year? And I guess that's where you kind of have to balance it out, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't think their careers are really shortened that much. Like, I don't buy that one a whole lot either, because, if you want to use the NFL got a lot less physical. Careers have gotten longer. The NBA's gotten less physical. The careers have gotten longer, but you also have people not playing in nearly as many games.
Yeah,
and the league's just a lot less physical. And again, the rehab is so much better than what it used to be. the travel. You're never going to have to go get in a cramped bus. You get nice jets fly. You can sleep like a baby on those things. They got them very nice for you. I just don't think the load management. I think it's a very blown up argument for guys sitting on in the rear. Sometimes it's necessary, but it's I don't think it's good for the NBA at all.
But then you look back on these players too, and I even look back like us, like back in the day, like going to like the rec center and playing for like 6, 7, 8 hours a day. And all these guys have played, how many games, talking about load management and all that stuff. How many of these games these guys have played, rec leagues on cement of all places for 6, 7, 8 hours a day, getting their game better to get, into colleges and high schools. And so it's so funny. And then once the NBA starts to say, oh, no, load management is wear and tear on my body. But here, like you said, they have the best facilities available to them for their bodies and stuff like that. So I think a lot of it is just get the money and get it the easiest way possible.
The problem is you need to put it in like the contracts, but the teams don't want to do that because, again, it's a valuable asset. The money, money just kind of, once it becomes such a high number, it becomes really problematic. The NFL is great because it is short enough that you'll never see that. If Jordan Love's ready to go, they're not going to be like, you know what, Love, set this game out. We need you later in the season. No, they're going to play him. It makes it.
Isn't that what the Ravens are doing this year?
Well, apparently they got they hit the Bears with a rope dope. They cheated. They said it was going to be Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
we were preparing for Lamar, not the great Tyler Huntley. If we had known earlier it was Tyler Huntley, we would have won the game. But no, I don't think they cheated. They just they were a little more cautious with Lamar, looking at this Bears team, and I think they were right to feel confident with Huntley.
Yeah, they finessed.
All right, we got to go to break here. Raff's good take coming up next, so don't go anywhere. Right here, 93.7 The Ticket. That is Chris Raff. I'm Harrison Arns.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hey guys, it's Carly from Boyk Farm Outfitters. Now that we're into harvest, it's time to think about what's next on each of your fields. For some, that means cover crops. Whether it's to help with weed pressure or erosion control, boost soil health, or if you need something for cow chow, we can help. We're seeding everything from simple rye covers to more exotic mixes and even winter wheat. So if you're shorthanded and don't feel like you can get anything seeded, just give us a call and we can help. Find us at BoykFarmOutfitters.com to get in touch. That's BOECK FarmOutfitters.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks. Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Calling all caffeinated Husker fans. Looking to boost your energy and focus? Caffeine alone won't do the trick. Enter Cranium Energy Drinks based out of Fremont, Nebraska, founded by lifelong Husker fans. Cranium is more than just caffeine. Every can has highly dosed nootropics that help boost mental clarity, paired with 150 milligrams of natural caffeine to provide smooth, long-lasting energy as well as enhanced focus. Find it at Hy-Vee Health Markets in Nebraska and Council Bluffs, as well as select gas stations and supplement stores. Or purchase online at drinkcranium.com, spelled with a Y after the I. Enter code EARLYBREAK for 10% off your order.
Hey guys, it's Nick. High school football postseason action is already here, and 93.7 The Ticket is bringing you all the hits starting this Friday. Join me and Jay Foreman from Malcolm High School as we broadcast Class C2 action with 11-seed Lincoln Lutheran doing battle against number 6 Malcolm. Kickoff is slated for 7 p.m. with pregame coverage coming your way at 6:45 p.m. It's the first round of the high school football playoffs, and it's right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back in. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. Chris Raff joining me as always Monday through Thursday on the late 9, 10 o'clock slot, but we appreciate it as always. And as always, what is Raff's good take here on a Wednesday?
Well, we got a little bit of breaking news right now also. SI.com is reporting that Matt Rule signed an extension with Nebraska and details possibly released tomorrow. So they're saying that it'll keep him in. This is, by the way, SI.com, which is saying this, that keep them past 2030 and details. They should possibly some details tomorrow. So I guess that ends the whether Coach Rule is staying in Nebraska or not, or if he's going to Penn State. So
they were definitely listening to our last segment.
They had to have been. But boy,
we need to sign this now. The Raff's roadies, they're getting nervous. Those guys won't shut up.
I'm telling you what now, though, you sign that extension and you better not lay an egg on Saturday night or else there's going to be an uprise because the person speaking in anonymity, I always love the anonymity people. Those are my favorite ones.
Yeah.
So specifics of the deal are not known at this time, but the additional years will come with a raise. Rule was set to make $7.5 million this season, with escalators taking it from $8.5 million in 2026 to possibly $12.5 million in 2030. So is that the current contract, or is that that's the current contract?
Extension with Nebraska, keeping third-year head coach of the Cornhuskers in Lincoln beyond 2030, according to anonymous sources.
I love it. But SI.com's running with it, so there must be some smoke behind that fire, possibly. So we'll see. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. You know,
man,
what
there's so many big spots out there. It's good to lock him up.
Yep.
Obviously, it's Penn State, but if you're Penn State now, again, I wonder like Florida, Arkansas, Penn State, Oklahoma State, like it's competition to get the best coach right now. Good luck for everybody in that race. That is major news. So is that your good take, Raff, that Matt Rule's staying?
Oh no, I got a good take too. I mean, it's good, but like I said, I don't land
maybe it's not a good take
on Saturday, or else some people might be going, did we give that extension maybe a little too soon? But so we'll see what happens. But yeah, all right, everybody. Today's Raff's good take goes out to Tony Goins and Austin Hillis. They're the two owners of Capital Cigar Lounge in Lincoln here. Last week, they celebrated their 7-year anniversary of being in Lincoln. Tony, just a great person. One of the guys I could call him right now, and he'd answer and go, "What up, C Raff?" And he takes just the person he is, and that you're able to have a relationship with a guy like that. Just super cool dude. Austin, don't see him as much. He lives kind of up Omaha way or whatever, and they have another lounge up in Omaha. But I just want to congratulate them on 7 years, and you guys are Raff's good take.
Love it. I like going there too. I'm not much of a cigar person, Raff. I'll be honest. Every time I go, I'm like, let me get one of these bad boys, and it's fifth puff. I'm like, oh, anybody else want the rest of this? That's not my forte, but just the environment there. And if you love cigars, then you will really love it. I'm just not a cigar guy, but the environment's still awesome enough that I love going there. And even though I don't smoke cigars, I'll still go there and attempt, smoke a cigar just for the environment. I love the environment in there. And even if I don't want a cigar, me and my buddies have been there plenty of times. So that is a great one. And that's good to know. I didn't realize they've been there for that long. Hopefully they continue that streak, because I know your partner Aaron Davis likes that spot a lot as well. So
yes, he does. Yes, he does.
All right, Raff, appreciate it as always, but I'll let you get us out of here.
All right, everyone, have a great night. Remember, be nice to each other. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you familiar with everything the Lincoln Children's Museum offers? Camps, field trips, and game day playdates are just a few of the extraordinary programs provided